Almost forgot what winning in the NFL looks like and also feels like. I'm so glad we got it done. Now come on, Carolina, just fall over and let the 49ers beat your ass so that we're the only team to win in the NFC South this week. Come on, you know damn well you got no chance against the 49ers. Especially after what their defense looks like, without Bosa and Warner, they actually look pretty good. Or rather, really pretty good. Sorry, I had to do that. I'm really just afraid of some random bullshit happening this upcoming week. Both college and pros. But let's stick with college for now. Welcome to the Greasy Tugs Football. I am the Grinch, and ladies and gentlemen, we have Week 13 college football reactions. We're also going to be looking at the Week 14 AP poll. If you are indeed to join the series, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button right down there. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. Helps the channel a lot. Without further delay, let's go over yet to some Week 13 college football games, shall we? Already talked about the Thursday game between Louisiana Raging Cajuns and also Arkansas State. That was a pure cinema game. But we're just going to be doing Saturday this week. At least that doesn't intrigue my eye that much. But starting off, we got Oklahoma beat Missouri 17-6 in Norman. Do they still have a chance to make the SEC championship? Probably not. They already did lose to Texas and also Ole Miss, so they're probably out of the SEC championship race. But they might still go to the playoff. I mean, they're number 8. Of course, they probably will. For Missouri, Bro Pribula did not have a great game. 231 yards, 2 interceptions. Run game got shut down. That definitely didn't help. Kevin Coleman led receiver with 7 catches for 115 yards. Man, good job, bro. Defense wasn't so bad. I mean, they got 2 sacks, and Josiah Trotter had 13 total tackles. But yeah, the offense just really couldn't get anything done. And for Oklahoma, not much offensively either. John Mateer did throw 2 touchdowns, but only 173 yards. Run game was okay between John Mateer and Xavier Robinson. And Isaiah Sategna, I think I said that right, 3 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. A touchdown went to Javonte Gibson. 1.5 sacks for Taylor Wine, but overall, this defense played outstanding, holding them to 0 touchdowns. Very unnecessary ranked win for Oklahoma. Missouri should not have been ranked at all, but Eli Drunks, I can't remember their coach's last name, but he's not been that bad, to be honest. Obviously, those weren't Missouri's best seasons, but still, not too shabby. Oh yeah, and by the way, the reason why you're not going to see very many SEC games is because this was the week that SEC teams played against powerhouses. As in high school teams or very bad FBS teams. High school teams meaning FCS. God, I hate this week. This is why I feel like SEC teams should be banned from getting FCS teams on their schedule. I mean, I get it. They're paying these schools to get their asses kicked and also to help them out. But come on. The competition difference is just not even a competition. But anyways, let's move on. Oregon beat USC in Eugene at College Game Day 42-27. I tried to say it, man. USC's defense is not as good as people think they are. Just ask Illinois. More on them later. Jaden Maeva actually had a solid game, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and Makai Levin even threw a touchdown himself. Passing game definitely had to step up because the run game, it was not looking good. Makai Levin threw a touchdown pass and caught 2 of them. 200-yard receivers, Jacoby Lane with 6 catches for 108, and Tanuk Hines 6 catches for 141 in the score, and Lake McCree also had a touchdown. The only person who really made an impact, well, at least the only one that's shown on defense for USC, was Kennedy Urlacher with an interception. He's not related to Brian Urlacher for some reason, is he? Yeah, probably not. Meanwhile, for the team that actually had a better run game, Oregon, Dante Moore had a pretty solid game himself too. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. 3 rushing touchdowns for 3 different players. 100 yards for Noah Whittington as well. And both of Dante Moore's touchdown passes went to Kenyon Sadiq. I think that's how you say his name. Along with 6 catches for 72. 2 picks for the Oregon defense. Mateo Ueagalele had a sack, and Jaden Kennedy and Ife Obadegwu, I think that's how you say his name, they both got picks. Solid win for Dan Lanning Company, and now this is probably the 3rd or 4th straight 10-win season for the Ducks. Dan Lanning looks elite. Guys, you have no idea how badly I wanted Utah to lose this game, but Utah, fortunately, does get it done. 51-47 against Kansas State, despite a horrible defensive performance. The passing game sucked. Avery Johnson, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and only 100 yards passing. Why was the passing game such ass? Because the run game took over for Kansas State. I mean, Avery Johnson did run for a touchdown, so did Antonio Martin. But this man, Joe Jackson, when he pulled off, should be in a horror film. This man ran for 24 carries, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, that guy was a demon in that game. He pulled off like what? 3 of those touchdowns were long touchdown runs, I think. It was a 66-yarder, an 80-yarder, and a 24-yarder. Wow. Only touchdown really going to count Garrett Oakley through the air. I guess the only difference in the game was that Utah actually had a passing game. Devin Dampier threw 2 touchdowns, so 250 yards. But the run game absolutely took over. Especially the quarterbacks for Utah. Because both Dampier and Ficklin combined for 150 total yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. 3 for Ficklin and 2 for Dampier. Both quarterbacks got it done in the end zone. And the 2 touchdowns went to Dallin Bentley and Larry Simmons for Utah. This was literally the Bears-Bengals game on steroids. And now if Kansas State loses their final game, they're not even going to be bowl eligible. And they were actually one of the favorites to win the entire conference. I swear, Big 12 always finds a way to be one of the most ridiculous conferences every year. Moving on to an upset, we got TCU beating Houston 17-14 in Houston. And this eliminates Houston from any chance of making a Big 12 championship game. Josh Hoover, he didn't really have the best performance. He did throw 300 yards, but 2 touchdowns to 3 picks. Run game was solid. Jeremy Payne, 100 rushing yards. Joseph Manjack led receiver with 9 catches for 95 yards, but the touchdowns went to Eric McAllister and Jordan Dwyer. Defense as a whole was actually pretty solid. Look at that. 14 tackles for Caleb Elam's-Orr and also an interception by Julius Sims. They were pretty nice. Houston honestly wasn't even that bad themselves. Connor Weigman had 270 total yards. He actually ran for 114. Threw 2 touchdowns and an interception. Unfortunately, after those 2 touchdowns, they just could not withstand the defensive onslaught of TCU. Those 2 touchdown passes went to Amari Thomas and Dean Connors. Defense actually did pretty nicely themselves for Houston. Will James 2 picks. Brooke Brown had the other one, but yeah, TCU just helped Houston come up short. Didn't help that Ethan Sanchez missed 2 field goals. Don't worry, Houston's going to get better. Willie Fritz is actually a very nice coach. He'll get you to the promised lands soon enough. I need to make sure I didn't forget about this one. But BYU comes to Cincinnati and beats them 26-14 in a actually pretty nice defensive battle. Well, it was a defensive battle up until LJ Morton decided to completely take over the game. Barrett Botmeyer did struggle with passing, but definitely a big step forward for LJ Morton. 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. He does have over 1,000 yards, and he actually has the 2nd most rushing yards for a BYU quarterback, I think career-wise. First place, of course, is Tyler Algier. Barrett also ran for a touchdown, though, too. Interception by Tanner Wall. Therian Alexander also had a sack, but defense as a whole actually played very nicely. Yeah, Cincinnati really just could not move the ball one bit. I mean, they did a pretty good job doing so, but they were better off passing the football. I mean, Sorsby had 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, we were at 13 and almost thought they were going to come back. And the 2 touchdowns went to Cyrus Allen and Jeff Caldwell. Defense did a good job shutting down the passing game from Barry Botmeyer, but they just could not stop LJ. Yeah, you know what would have helped? If Rusnak decided to make a field goal. He missed 3 of them in this game. Heck of a win for BYU, and now we're 10-1. All we got to do now is beat UCF. Why do I feel like that's a trap game? Also, GG Cincinnati, you guys were actually a very tough opponent. This was a big stunner, but Illinois loses to Wisconsin 27-10 in Madison. Wisconsin had nothing to play for, but they just played spoiler on Illinois' comeback season. Brett Bielema loses to his old team. But man, the run game sucked. I know Altmaier ran for a touchdown, but 248 yards, no touchdown, that's not going to cut it. I mean, defense had 5 sacks, but somehow Wisconsin was just driving all over this defense. Yeah, what I mean by that is the run game got going. Darian Dupree took over the game with 131 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The other touchdown coming from Vinny Anthony. There's the Wisconsin I know, having an insane running back room and a pretty mediocre quarterback room. Unless, of course, your name is Russell Wilson. What a game for Darrell Peterson, getting 3 sacks, but this defense as a whole, outstanding. Never want to see this game again. Next. I'm sorry, LSU, but what the fuck was this? This is the 2nd time this season that LSU has played a horrible performance against the Group of 5 team, and this time it was Western Kentucky. And both of those games were actually at home too. You know, if it wasn't for Ronnie Tisdale throwing 2 picks, this game could have been a lot different. LSU, you better be lucky your defense is actually pretty nice. Because with Jalen Lewis, Jalen Wester, and also an interception from Harper Holloman, they definitely deserve to win this game. Nussmeier got injured, and Van Buren, he was pretty okay. 1 touchdown, 200 yards, and an interception. Run game was alright too. And the only touchdown on offense was from Trades Green. That was through the air. Like I said, you better be lucky you got a defense as good as this. 2 interceptions and also 5 sacks, I'm very sure. Yep, 2 sacks for Jabari Butler, interception for PJ Woodland, DJ Pickett. I mean, this was a defensive battle and not a good one. Isn't the SEC supposed to be the most dominant conference in college football? Why is this kind of game happening? This downfall of LSU football has got to be studied. And finally, yes, I gotta talk about this game. Pitt beats Georgia Tech in Atlanta 42-28. Pittsburgh went out to a 28-0 lead on these Yellow Jackets, and yeah, they just couldn't catch up. Let me see if I can get this name right. Mason Honchel, I think? 20-27, 226 yards, 32 touchdowns, ran for 1 as well. Ja'Kyrian Turner, 200 rushing yards and touchdown as well. The running game got 3 touchdowns for Pittsburgh. I mean, this Georgia Tech defense got picked apart piece by piece. I mean, Kenny Johnson scored a touchdown, so did Justin Holmes. I think there was like one or two plays where the receiver was just wide open and he scampered it in the end zone. Only 1 sack by Kyle Lewis and 2 interceptions, one of which Brandon Lovelace took to the end zone for a pick 6. Or Lovelace, I don't even know. I don't know Pitt football like that. An up and down game for Haynes King as well. 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. Also threw 2 picks. Both those touchdowns went to Isaiah Canyon, and Jamal Haynes ran for a touchdown, but yeah, it was too little too late. I mean, the defense did get 2 sacks, but that's pretty much it, because they got completely gashed. And unfortunately, Georgia Tech had a chance to clinch an ACC title game berth, but they squandered it as easily as probably they'll get smoked by Georgia. Sting those dogs, and yeah, finally beat them for the first time since 2016, hopefully. Now we move on to the Week 14 AP poll. Let's see how it stacks up. Top 4 remain the same. Oregon jumps up to 5. Texas Tech drops after a bye at 7. Ole Miss at 6. And 8, 9, 10, 11 stayed the same. I don't think Texas Tech should be punished for having a bye week. How come the SEC doesn't get punished like that? Vanderbilt actually stayed at 12. Miami jumps Utah. Michigan's at 15. Guess the bigger brand bias comes again in the AP poll, because Utah basically, also the fact that Utah almost lost to K-State at all. Texas at 16, even though they should not even be a top 25 team, and neither should Tennessee. But Tennessee does play Vanderbilt, so that could change. Virginia at 17 has a chance to clinch an ACC title berth when they beat Virginia Tech. USC plays UCLA. They have no shot at the Big 10 championship because Ohio State and Indiana are still unbeaten. And James Madison is at 20. Almost lost to Wazoo. I think it was at home. And once again, AP poll can't seem to figure out what a head-to-head means. It means that 2 teams play, and whoever wins should be ahead of the other. Apparently, they didn't get that memo. Of course, I'm talking about the Georgia Tech of Pittsburgh situation. Pitt beat Georgia Tech, yet Georgia Tech's 1 spot ahead of them. Pitt has a chance to really redeem themselves with a game against Miami, and it is at Pitt. Can they play spoiler to the Miami Hurricanes' dream season? I guess there's one way to find out, right? Other teams include North Texas at 21 and Tulane at 22. Man, North Texas being ranked brings a tear to my eye. From winning the NIT in basketball to finally being ranked for the first time in 66 years of football, it's just amazing. They did start on me in that first half when they were down 14-0 to Rice. But luckily, their defense stepped up and also did their offense. Excited to see what the future holds for the Mean Green. That'll do it for the reactions to the AP poll, and that'll do it for the episode of Grizzly Talks Football. If you enjoy, make sure you give this a big thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. This is the Grizz signing off for now, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace, love, and keep the Grizzly vibes with you at all times. Take care.